Yo, what's up? Welcome to another video. And before we get started, I just wanted to ask y'all a few questions. Do y'all like longer form content or my shorter form content, like when I react to stuff? Cause I have a I have a video where I reacted to an interview from the director of PoE2, but that video is like an hour or something long. It's a long video, and I don't know if I should post it or just like chop it up where it's like a lot shorter. Or do you? I don't know what y'all like. Do y'all just like hearing my thoughts, like seeing the whole video and seeing me like kind of jump in every now and then and hearing my thoughts on things, or do you just like me when I just like come on here, boot up the camera and just kind of speak my mind for a couple minutes where it's not too long, like 10, 15 minutes long. That's it. I really don't want to post a video if nobody's going to watch it, if it's too long, or if you like it better if I kind of like chopped it up a little bit and like you have some of the context of what they're saying. See, that's what I don't want. Like for me, I would just like the whole thing up there so you can get the context, the whole video and everything, and what I'm actually commenting on and put my input on and everything. But yeah, I just don't. Let me know in the comments what you like, what you know, or if you just kind of just have me up in the background, you're doing homework or trying to fall asleep, and you just have one of my videos up, whatever. I just want to know, so let me know down in the comments. All right, I'm gonna let's get into the video.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to take a second here away from the heavily edited comedy, infotainment type of stuff, and have a conversation about something that I think is like actually important. I notice in the comments that I'm getting on the live streams, as well as the YouTube video, as well as what I'm just seeing from like the demographic that's enjoying this type of content, is very primarily there seems to be a significant number of new players into going into Path of Exile 2. I'm talking people that never played Path of Exile 1, maybe even people new to the genre itself. And the thing about it is a
Okay.
lot of the content that you're seeing is either presuming previous knowledge of not only the game, but of conversations that maybe have arrived around the ARPG genres and Path of Exile in particular. One such example would be things like build guides. Okay, you'll see people that would suggest, like I typically suggest, just play the game. You'll see people that suggest use a build guide, etc. Or there will be conversations like meta conversations around like, should you use a build guide? What does it actually mean? But the reality is a lot of people coming in aren't even familiar with like these types of concepts. So what I want to do in this video is just kind of give a general talk on Path of Exile 2 in my basic suggestions.
Okay, I know we really haven't gotten to the video yet, but I like to talk and put my inputs in. If you're new to this genre, or just this type of game, or to Path of Exile, period, should you look up a build guide or should you just figure it out on your own? I say in the middle, right? Play the game, kind of get a understanding of the systems for yourself a little bit. Then after you get to that point where like, okay, I know I can do this and this, but I want my build to be a little bit better or way better, maybe look up a few build guides or whatever to see what's going on, see what they're doing. But I would say kind of be in the middle. Play the game. See if you like the game first. Try to learn a little bit on your own. If you can't figure some stuff out, look up a build guide. See what they're doing and go from there.
In terms of just enjoy the game and some things to kind of avoid for people that are maybe entirely new to not only the game but the genre. Path of Exile 2 is what, in my opinion, is going to be sort of a rare breed in ARPGs. It's sort of a meeting pot where we're seeing people come from Path of Exile 1, we're seeing people come from Diablo 4, we're seeing from Last Epoch, and from all of the ARPG genre, people are sort of meeting in the middle, and you can see some conflicting opinions, conversations, around the game overall, and it can be kind of confusing. So, for Path of Exile 2, I want to just right from the beginning say this: it is, in my opinion, going to be like a generational type of game because we are seeing so many people come to it. I think it's going to be the type of game, unless it's just like a super early hot take and ends up being absolutely terrible and this ages like milk. I think this game is legitimately going to be like the pinnacle of ARPGs, or at least up there for a while, and it's going to be 5 years, 10-year plus style of game, just like Path of Exile 1 was. On the release of the original Path of Exile 1, it took some time to get to the point where we saw all of the things and now has into it, and to earn the respect and all of that of the people by so long. And you probably have thought, when you see Path of Exile 2, like one of the most common comments I see is that Path of Exile 2 seems like, extremely overhyped, or I don't believe the hype, or it seems like people are just jumping on the hype train. I want to address that is sort of one of the first points. Part of the reason you're seeing this, and people like myself coming up here and being so excited about this, because I've been very vocal before about games like Ashes of Creation or Star Citizen, like these games that I see so much hype for, to levels that seem astronomical, and promises of what it's going to deliver, and basically promise to be the next thing in the genre. It's hard for me to believe these level of hype when I see them, because of how much press I'm seeing around it, and a lot of times these are in early access, much like Path of Exile 2 is going to be. So you're probably seeing some like contradiction in terms of like, how can you be so excited when you typically aren't so excited in like early access in these other games, but yet everyone's so excited in Path of Exile 2. And if you're new to the Path of Exile game, or the genre, or the company and its reputation, that's probably very confusing. It can almost seem like maybe it's like a scam, or I don't really like get, like, why is this one so, it's still early access, it costs $30 to get in, like what's going on? And so the first bit to answer that is GGG, which is Grinding Gear Games, the company that has basically developed Path of Exile 2 as well as obviously Path of Exile 1, has earned a reputation over the last 10 years of like under promise, over deliver. Not only the quantity of content they've pumped out for the original game, but the quality of content in terms of cadence, performance, and you can kind of go down the line, but has been fairly significant. I myself am fairly newer within Path of Exile. And I say that only having like 1,400 hours in, which is still like, only in any other game that
14 hours in. Wow, okay. See, I'm basically new. I only have like, I don't know, like 20 something hours in the game. I'm new, but I understand the hype. I I've heard about Path of Exile a lot over the years, and like I always say, I tried to get into it at first, but I couldn't. I was new to PC gaming. The only ARPG I played was Diablo 4. I can understand the hype for this game. I can. Everything I've heard about this game is good. A lot of it is good. Yes, I hear things about it being bad. I don't even consider like the skill tree being a bad thing. That's awesome. It may overwhelm some people, but after you actually play the game and kind of learn it a little tiny bit, you understand it's not that bad. The hype behind this game is justified because of GGG, Grinding Gear Games and stuff, and watching multiple interviews on the director, Jonathan and stuff. They really care about this game, and besides that, they really care about the players. So if you didn't know, like Path of Exile 2 was only supposed to be a, an expansion to the first one, but they wanted to do more, and at some point they realized this is more than expansion. This is a whole new game. This is PoE 2 that we're making. It they up they upgrade the graphics, the gameplay, the systems, how they work are different, but the core foundation of the game is still the same. That's why you can actually they're carrying over all your microtransactions from the first one to the second one. Okay, that's a big thing. They say everything you bought in the first game, well, you get to keep it and carry it over to the second one. Most developers don't do that at all. Okay, that's a big thing. Jonathan the director of the game, he's always saying they wanted to make a game. He wanted to make a game that he wanted to play, not anybody else. And you might say, oh, that's kind of selfish. Why would he make a game that only he wants to play? Because if he wants to play it, there's hundreds of thousands of other people who probably want to play it too. And guess what? He was right. You know, PoE 1 was a predecessor of Diablo 2. If you don't know, Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 are totally different. A lot of people who love Diablo 2 don't like Diablo 3. So he said, okay, there's a gap in the market. People really love Diablo 2, but they don't have a new game to play, so he's going to make it. Okay, and that's the game he wanted to play, and he made it. And I'm not sure, I wasn't there at the beginning of PoE. It probably took some time to really grow, but it has an audience now. More PoE 1, but better, with a better combat system, better graphics, with a better end game. And with some of the issues that are so not some of the stuff that are so like complicated in the game, needless complication in the game, that they fixed that. So you can understand why this game, if you just, a lot of people just don't get on the internet and look up stuff and watch YouTube videos like I do. I may be a YouTuber, but I still watch a ton of YouTube. That's mostly what I watch is YouTube. And I understand the hype behind this game. And playing the 20 so hours, 30 hours of PoE 1, I understand. I want more. And what they did with PoE 2 is just amazing. But sorry, I went on a little rant.
That'd be an expertise, but that's because of the the quantitative amount of content you see in Path of Exile 1. But even during my time in the game, I have seen both the quality and quantity of content come to the original Path of Exile 1 in just the amount of time. So first of all, you have statements, performance of actions, as well as things like transparency. When they have an issue, they basically come up, say exactly what the issue is almost immediately, etc. I think a good example of this would have been, there was a major patch that was trying to be deployed in order to get Path of Exile 2 ready, and the most recent delay, the delaying it from November 15th to December 6th, they had to kind of come up there with just a fairly heartfelt apology, like, we're really sorry, here's what's going on, and it's believable would be a terminology I would use. The other part I'm going to use, which is it is going to be personal information as opposed to more objective information. But I've had the opportunity to speak with the devs in person, off camera, that was not used as content. And I've got to tell you, while I enjoyed the game of Path of Exile 1 before, I started what I would consider like trusting the game or the company, or at least having belief in the company, which is something that I believe in modern society, belief in companies is sort of a foregone. I mean, it's very rare that there's actually a company you believe in or a product you believe in. Like, people have become skeptical for good reason due to under-delivered promises from larger corporations, etc. So people don't really tend to give that faith in a product or company very often. But in my communications and interactions, I'm going to say with Jonathan Rogers in particular, the man who's sort of the major lead on the Path of Exile 2 project, I have come to wholeheartedly believe the man is multiple things. One of which is a person that actually knows his product demographic and how to accomplish what he's setting out to do, actually enjoys the own game in which he is playing and understands the game as well as an honest person. So
The reason he knows his demographic, because he is his demographic. It's just amazing, like, how him as a developer, like, it's like, I know what they want, and he may not get it right all the time, right? Because he's a person, and not everybody is the same, but he knows the general demographic, because he is that demographic. This is the game he wanted to play from the beginning. He just had to make it himself.
I have some personal belief in the company due to the nature of the person that is primarily representing the company, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's my personal reason that I am allowing myself to sort of get on the hype train for Path of Exile 2, as well as hopefully somewhat of an answer as to why you're seeing so much of a hype train from so many different creators within the ARPG scene. It's more than just everyone is trying to farm the latest game and we'll go farm the next one. There's always that percentage of it. Obviously, I'm going to post videos for the game that's the most hype in the ARPG scene as now, but there is legitimate belief in the company as well as the product behind it with basically every creator that you could think or name. I don't really know, to be honest, of anyone in the field that I've talked to personally, professionally, whatever you want to call it, that feels other than like an overwhelming faith in the company, essentially, which is exceedingly rare in the gaming ARPG market. Now, another conversation you might see as, tending to Path of Exile 2, if you are a newer player, is about blind. There's been some recent drama. I won't go into this about, stuff getting spoiled. There wasn't really anything major spoiled, but in terms of should you go into the game blind? Should you use a build guide? Like, why is this such a big conversational point? And there's multiple reasons behind this, and I'll just kind of explain this for people that might decide to play the game and want to really know what the decision is to make. I myself, as someone who, would benefit from you watching and absorbing my content, would actually heavily recommend to you to basically do the opposite, which is I would suggest to keep yourself as clean and virgin snow as possible in terms of how much content that you absorb with the game. The only reason I say this is because Path of Exile 2 in and of itself is actually doing a very good job, in my experience of playing it, of explaining the game to you. I don't think this is a situation in which you need to download build guide. I know people don't really have guides out, at the moment, literally anyway, due to the nature of the game really hasn't been, explored as often as some of the other games. But I don't think this is a game in which you have to download 13 billion programs and all of that in order to be able to enjoy it from the beginning. I think this is the type of game that you can, as a newer player, go into it and actually have the game itself sort of handhold you, at least from the beginning, to be able to understand it. And if you hit a wall, feel free to absorb these other things. I do think there will come a point when the in game, when you're feeling not maybe as much power as you would like, and you're going to begin to do some research. But I do think there is an argument to be made that going into the game and experiencing for yourself is now a possibility. This might seem contradictory due to, if you've done any research about the original Path of Exile game, you're going to see almost always unanimously people recommending you to have a build guide from the beginning. And that is because Path of Exile 1 did not do the things that Path of Exile 2 are doing in order to handhold you, teach you the game, or keep you from basically corrupting your character. While your character can be salvaged in the in-game, it was more difficult in Path of Exile 1 to be able to get an enjoyable experience without some outside information. This is probably the most common complaint of Path of Exile 1 and is a large portion of the reason that the Path of Exile 1, while it was considered a great game, didn't 100% dominate like all of the market and everyone's unanimously playing it on console and PC, and it's just like obvious it won, is because Path of Exile 1 is not very friendly to new players. And that is why you see so much recommendation around spreadsheets and build guides and programs, etc. And I think Path of Exile 2 is going to do.
Yeah, he's right about that, because like when I first got into Path of Exile a long time ago, when I first built my PC and everything, like that was one of the first games I tried because it was free, and I like Diablo, and it was so much different. It did not hold my hand at all. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I did not know what I was doing, and I didn't understand the gem system, the skills, the skill tree and everything. I didn't understand none of that. So like even when I hopped back on, I had about 7 hours play. I didn't have any skills. Okay, that's how stupid I was. I didn't realize. I just thought you leveled up, you get your skills unlocked. No, you have to make sure you have the slots you want, the gems with the skills you want, put them in. You have like your support gems and everything. I didn't know that. That's so much different than like playing like Diablo, where you get your levels, you get your points, then you pick what skills you want, and like the support skills with them and stuff. No, it wasn't like that. It didn't hold my hand. It didn't tell me, hey, get armor, your armor is going to have slot for different gem types. Well, those gem types are your skills and your support skills. So you want to make sure you pick the right armor you want and everything. Didn't tell me none of that. Okay, it just throws you in there. It's like it doesn't even tell you to figure it out. It's like bye.
Do a phenomenal job, in my experience, of playing the game at avoiding these same pitfalls for the newer players. So I don't think that's something you need to worry about as well, which is part of the reason I would suggest to you to maybe play the game for yourself before you actually go down the rabbit hole of try-hard min-maxing. Now, if there are a type of player that are hyper-competitive players, or they get the enjoyment from games, from progressing as quickly as possible, if you're one of these people, I absolutely understand. I played League of Legends for 10 years, and I had a roommate at the time who we would play every single day together, and he was more competitive than myself. And I won't say I'm casual, because I definitely wasn't casual in League of Legends, but my mentality was different around more having fun. But like, I also wanted to climb rank, as opposed to like climbing rank is the purpose of having fun. They were sort of different. So I can understand those concepts, and I know that this is fundamentally something that's just different nature of different people, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if you want to go down the min-max try hard strat, 07 to you. I hope you blast through the campaign and enjoy it. The other reason I think a lot more people are going to be coming into this game from outside of the Path of Exile community is obviously crossplay, cross progression, couch co-op, and also the campaign itself is doing a much better job at actually being a campaign, as opposed to just continual boss fights or minions you slash through. There's actually a cinematic that sort of sets up what the story is actually going to be. There's continual other cutscenes in between the acts, and even if you're not really fully paying attention, you can sort of pseudo understand what's going on just by nature of the way they present the game from the beginning, which I think is significantly more enjoyable. I also think that if you're not worried about blasting through, listening to the voice lines, etc., Path of Exile 1 did a phenomenal job at actually having fantastic voice acting, having great music. The audio in general in the game is actually very enjoyable, so I think Path of Exile 2 is going to be the type of game that you can actually play through and enjoy from a more standard video game playthrough, if you understand what I'm saying, as opposed to only a systems-based ARPG in which the only thing that matters is items, power, build, etc. I think once you've put a certain amount of hours into the game becomes that, but I think for most people that are deciding to play through the game near the beginning of the game, I absolutely can recommend to you that I don't think there's anything wrong with just playing the game through like a standard game in the beginning. So these are a couple of like the primary points of conversation that I'm actually seeing being brought up in the game in particular. I think that these are my thoughts on the matter, and to be honest, I hope that you all just have a really great time. To the people that are already part of the Path of Exile community, I implore you to welcome other people into the game. I think Path of Exile 2 is going to be the great melting pot in which all of the other genres and other people outside of the genres, etc., are going to come in. And I've very often seen the argument where it's like, hey, maybe you should play Path of Exile. It's the greatest ARPG in the genre, and you guys firmly believe that it is. I am of the same opinion, but then every now and then I would see the same type of people that are saying, Path of Exile is the best, ever. This is the game you should play. Why are you playing other games? And then some people come in to play Path of Exile and are overloaded with the information, etc., and then they get told, well, just go play Diablo 4, you're not smart enough for this game or something. So I would completely recommend to people that are like myself, that are enjoying Path of Exile and have some hours into it, to go back and remember what it felt like the first time you played it, and to be friendly and welcoming to the new people coming into the community. And I think that this also would extend to people like content creators. I understand there's also some arguments to be made about whether or not putting up build guides and all of this information early can be considered bait or not, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity in Path of Exile 2 to sort of have a great reset and really enjoy the community, being positive and hyped around the game that is actually going to be fantastic, and to have that community grow. If Path of Exile 2 is what I believe it will be, then I do think in this type of scenario, Path of Exile 2 is going to be the greatest ARPG in the genre, and does not need to have anything be proved. I think it will prove itself, and therefore we don't need to sales pitch to other people it's the greatest and go out and kind of do all of that type of stuff. I think it will speak for itself, and you can, if you're a Path of Exile huge fan, you can rest assured in the fact that Path of Exile is essentially winning the fight by proof of good gameplay. So that would be my argument to everyone outside of the community, inside of the community. I hope you all enjoy the game. I myself am going to enjoy the game a lot, and it's one of these types of games where it doesn't even matter if I was making content on it, I would be playing this game regardless. I legitimately enjoyed every second of me playing when I flow down to test the early access. All of the positivity you're seeing from other people, I can attest to are legitimate from the people who have actually played it. They have reason to have legitimate excitement, and I'm very excited to see Path of Exile 2 bring in a large community that we can all love and enjoy the fact that we are actually just getting a banger game to play in a genre maybe you enjoy, maybe you're new to the genre, and we can all enjoy that together. So that's just my...
All right, pretty good video. Go follow him. Go subscribe to him. I'm already subscribed to him. Give him a like on the video. It's a good video. And, you know, he's right. I'm not going to make this in part too long, but he's right. This game is going to be like the pinnacle of ARPGs for now, because, you know, they might make a third one later, make it improve on stuff, make it better. But for now, I think, like, I haven't got to play it, okay? This is coming from a person who's outside the content creator space. I don't get to go to stuff. I didn't go to anything. I haven't played it yet. Coming from a person who played the first one and like it, and this is from a person who didn't like it at first, who played it about 7 hours years ago, didn't like it, didn't understand it, coming back to it, understanding it, wanting to play it, and liking it and stuff, but finding that it's not perfect. No game is perfect. Path of Exile 1 isn't perfect, but I'm hyped on the second one because I see that, you know, learning about the developers, the director, Jonathan and stuff, he's about the players. He just wanted to make a game that he wanted to play. Everything he cares about the players and everything. He cares about the game. Seeing that they're changing stuff, trying to make it easier for new players, better graphics, better combat system, this better overall stuff, and they're trying to fix stuff, that has me hyped. Okay, it just has me hyped. Don't go off my word or any other YouTuber's word or anything like that. Play the game yourself. Wait till it's fully out and it's free. Wait till then or whatever. Watch YouTube videos, watch streamers play it and see if you enjoy it, or if you're just one of the people like, oh, this game looks kind of boring, but maybe it's not. If I actually play it myself, just wait or spend the $30, you know, give it a chance. And that's all I have to say. Leave me a like, subscribe to me for more videos, and ring that bell, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day or night. Peace.